Hello there and welcome to another video of Des Illustrates. We are diving right into this one with the first swatch of Red Violet from the brand Ecoline. This is a liquid watercolor and it comes in 60 different colors. The little brochure that I have here states that they dry really quickly but not water resistant or waterproof, so you can always work further and you can always re-wet what's already dry. So they really work exactly like watercolors on that point. The colors that they offer are really vibrant, and I think that's the biggest difference between them and a lot of watercolors, because not all watercolors are known to be vibrant and they also dry a lot duller than they are. These watercolors from Ecoline are also a bit duller when they are dry than when you see them wet, but they all still are really vibrant, and you can also use them right out of the little flacon they come in if you want to. So you can really keep that vibrancy alive. You don't have to water it down to have it to be usable and not shine, for example, if you have student grade watercolors. They offer their Ecoline also in brush pens. These are reasonable new. I have a couple of these, so I will show those in a future video. However, not in this one. This one we will be purely looking at the ones in the little flacons. In total, I'm looking over at my swatches. I have in total 13 colors, including a white and a gold. I bought these two little sets with mixing primaries and stuff a little while ago, and I have to be honest, I haven't played around a whole lot with them yet. Hence that this video is a first impression video and not a review. I do wanna paint a lot more with them, but yeah, I just haven't had the energy for it yet. The biggest drawback I had from painting with them until now is I didn't really have a palette that was for them, so to be using them I had to open and close all the flacons individual each time, and since I don't have a desk, that was really dangerous because we all know that knocking over a bottle of ink is really easy. And next to that, I also had some trouble with opening some of them. It's they have this little pipette that you can see in some of the shots, and it can squeeze in the cap part of it, and then you get some of the watercolor in the little pipette. And I have the idea that if you squeeze this little pipette while you close the bottle, that you create a kind of vacuum, and then they are really hard to open, and that really hurts my hands. So that has also been a bit of a bummer in these. I haven't really found anything except to be really careful when you screw them close to prevent this from happening really. Here in the shots I was trying to make the watercolor move a bit. The paper had dried out a bit too far already, so it wasn't really doing anything on the paper. So what I'm doing right now is adding a bit more water again. It ruins a bit of the texture that it had then already, But yeah, the paper was too dry because this one was one of the ones that I had trouble opening the cap while I was working on this. But what I did, I bought a little plastic palette with, I would say, 30 plus wells, really tiny wells. So what I do is I open all the bottles once and do a little bit of each color in all of the wells. A little bit of this goes a long way if you just use it in a painting and not in big backgrounds or anything. But that way I don't have to open and close all the bottles all the time, and I also don't have them standing around on the couch and on my lap and everything, because that's just a recipe for knocking them over. So with that little palette I will be trying them out more, and we probably will see that also on this channel, to try and make some botanical illustrations maybe with these, because the colors are just stunning and I think they will be perfect for that. Another really fun thing that you can do with these is you can use them with nib pens. So they feel a bit like a hybrid between an ink and a watercolor. They are more vibrant than watercolors, more like inks, and they are also easier to use in nib pens than, for example, real watercolors, also because they come in a little flask where you can dip your pen in, but they just flow easier off the nib than normal watercolors if you apply it with a brush on the nib. But on the other hand, they are really wettable, so they are not waterproof, and that way they are more than watercolors, and you can also really easily dilute them and with big washes get some really watercolor like textures. So it feels a bit like a hybrid between the two for me, and I'm really looking forward to experimenting more with it and sharing it with you guys. Let me know if there's anything specific that you would like to see me do with them or try out with them, or specific papers that you know I might have or might not have that you are interested in if they would work on. I can try out a lot of different things, and yeah, just let me know in the comments if there's anything you would really like to see with these. Another thing about Ecoline that is a bit of a downside compared to normal watercolors is that there are no Lightfastness ratings. So you have no idea of if your Ecoline inks are gonna last very long. So for that note, I wouldn't use them on traditional paintings that you are planning on selling. And if you do, I think it is important to mention that you use them and that people have to keep them away from sunlight even more than normal paintings. I do think this is a big downside of them, because with no Lightfastness ratings you can't really use them professionally. You can use them a lot in sketches and sketchbook, and you can use them in paintings, but like I said, if you want to sell those paintings aren't gonna last forever because they are gonna fade. And I think that's a big thing why they can make these colors so vibrant and so bright, because they do no Lightfastness ratings. And I think if they would include those in these colors, that a lot of them wouldn't be Lightfast for that very reason. So that's something to look out for. If you don't mind that it's not Lightfast and you just want to play around with some really vibrant colors that are also really fun to use in very different ways, then you can use these no problem, but it is something to keep in the back of your mind. Now let's talk a bit about the colors that I got. Like I said, I got this little set of mixing colors This includes primary colors and then some additional mixing colors. The 10 bottles that were in this set are lemon yellow, light orange, vermilion, magenta, ultramarine violet, sky blue, also called cyan blue, green, sepia, grey and black. So the colors that I got as an addition to this are the white, the gold and the red violet, I believe. Yes, the red violet. That one, those three are the ones that I have outside of this set. In the next video of these Ecoline colors, I will be doing a mixing chart with the colors that I have, including the 3 extra ones, but you can easily see which colors those are, because the white and the gold are just really different, and they also will be on the bottom of the mixing card, and red violet will be in the middle, but I will point it out in the video that that's one that I got separate of these sets, so you can see which colors you can really easily mix with the set alone. And I also will point out which part is what you can get. I got the full set in total with 10 flasks, but you can also get the 2 sets separate of 5 flasks, so the primary set or the mixing set, or I believe they call it additional mixing, or I'm not sure, but I will be pointing that out. For the first impression that I got of the color selection of this set of 10 flasks that I got, the 5 colors that are in the primary set are the lemon yellow, the magenta, the green, the sky blue and the black. And I really like the magenta and the lemon yellow in there. I also really like that they used magenta instead of a red, because that gives you more mixing possibilities. However, I'm a bit disappointed in the green and the sky blue. I would have preferred to see the ultramarine violet in here instead of the sky blue. And if you have lemon yellow, magenta and ultramarine violet, you have the 3 primaries. So why in the primary set put the green in there? Because in the second set, that is the mixing set, they say, they have sepia, grey, ultramarine violet, vermilion, that's a red, and light orange. So in the additional mixing set, I don't understand how they divided these colors. I would myself put the vermilion and ultramarine violet in the primary set, and I will take the green and the black out and put those in the mixing set. So then you have a primary set of lemon yellow, magenta, sky blue, ultramarine violet and vermilion, and then the additional set is the green, light orange, sepia, grey and black. So this gives you extra options in mixing, but it isn't full of necessary colors that you need to mix all the colors. Because if you would have the ultramarine violet and vermilion in the first set, then you have 1 yellow, 2 reds and 2 blues. So you have a warm and a cool blue and a warm and a cool red, and that way you can mix almost all colors. And then the other set is more of convenience colors with orange and the green, but also some additional with the black and the sepia to have some browns that are not easy to mix, and to make your colors a bit darker with the black. which you can also do with just the brown, but next to that they added a gray. I think it's really nice gray, but with the black in there in the first set, what do you need a gray for? Because you can dilute this watercolor really easily. So with the black you could really easily make a gray, and for that reason I would have rather seen a white in the set instead of a gray, because then you could mix the gray two ways, with water or with the white, to make a more opaque gray. And you could also use white with the other colors to make pastel colors with those. So for a pre-made set, I don't really understand how they divided the colors between the two sets, and also how they picked some of them. The white is a bit of a different color than the rest of the colors. It's a bit thicker in texture, like you just saw when I was making the swatch, and it needs a bit more of a stir for that you get it out of the bottle, because it separates a bit in the bottle. But I don't think that is that big of a deal, and you can also make it a bit less thicker with a bit of water in it. However, then the white is less opaque, so it's a bit depending on what you want with your color. Do you want it to be more opaque, or do you want it to be more translucent? And that way it gives even more mixing opportunities together with other colors. So instead of the gray, I personally will rather see a white together with all the colors. Yeah, so that's a bit of my thoughts about the colors that they put in these pre-made sets. The last color that we are swatching here right now is the gold, that I also got myself, and this is also a bit of a different consistency, but not as bad as the white, and it gets pretty opaque too, so that's really pretty. And it also comes in a dropper in the new flask. I however have an old flask of gold. I have this one for quite some time already, so with the new one you can also drop it on the paper just like the other ones, and you can also play with that in big background washes you do and everything, so that's really nice. There are still a few colors on my wish list from this set, particularly browns. They have some really pretty browns, some red browns and mahogany and sienna and ochres, so I probably will be getting a few of those extra, but mostly for fun and to play around with in my sketchbook and stuff. And with that we have come to the end of this first part of the video. I hope you enjoyed, and I hope it helped you out with deciding if you like these or not. I want to thank you very much for watching, and I also want to thank my Patreons for supporting me over there and with that this channel. I hope to see you all next time. Bye!